Have you guys ever seen a little boy asking for more whipped cream on the frappuccino at Starbucks? I used to be that kid. Eating chocolate chip brownies was the joy of my life until I realized that I, as a follower of Jesus Christ, have a responsibility to take care of my health because my body is the temple of the Holy Spirit. Many of us, including myself, often take our health for granted. We don't usually give importance to our health until we get the sickness or illness. I used to prefer snacking rather than having the regular meals. I tried to avoid eating vegetables as much as possible. Checking the nutrition facts on the food products was someone else's story to me. My indifference to my health and my broken eating habits eventually made me allergic to chocolate. From then on, I had to avoid eating chocolate. I could say that was the hardest challenge in my life. It was hard for me to give up eating chocolates, chip brownies, and my favorite chocolate ice cream. However, I knew that I couldn't lose my health because of the chocolate. I had to do something and find something to recover my health. Thanks to advanced information technology, I was able to find a video channel run by a person who has same problem as me. She inspired me a lot to come up with the idea of making nutritious dessert. I succeeded in making my own nutritious dessert recipe, but that was not the only thing I have gained through the capstone experience. While I was doing my project, I got to notice something about myself that I did not know. I noticed that I love baking, or maybe talented. And also, I was able to redefine myself as a person who has patience. My capstone experience was not only a chance for me to explore the subject that I'm interested in, but also was a chance for me to look back on myself. When I first read the capstone prompt, "What do you love?" it took me more than a week to think about it. There are so many things that I love, but it was hard for me to love them when it comes to my occupation. My criteria for choosing a job was always focused on how much money I could make or how others think about it. Coming to America was a great chance for me to think about what I truly want or love, regardless of those things. My life in America was different than my life was in Korea. In Korea, I did not have a time to look into myself and ask myself, what do you love or what do you want? I want to briefly tell you guys how my schedule was like in Korea. Like in America, I went to school at, after school in the morning. After school, I went to an English and math academy. And after that, I went to the library to study for other subjects and got back home usually at 1 a.m. But this was not the end. I had to be awake until 3 a.m. to finish all my homework for school. This was my life in Korea and is the normal daily life as a Korean student. The purpose of my study was not to learn what I love or want, but was just to get into a good university. With this aimless study going on, I felt empty. But lucky for me, I had a chance to go to America and study there. In there, I was able to do many things that I could never think of doing it in Korea, and the baking was one of those things. I got interested in baking after a few tries. It was not a thing about me being interested in the field of baking, because I have always loved cookies and bread. I had always wanted to try baking, but I did not have a time to try it before I went to America. I could say that dessert is a thing that I could talk about it without getting bored for 5 hours or maybe a whole day. Baking was just my hobby, but after seeing the faces of people eating my desserts made me happy. Looking at them just made me happy. And since then, I decided to become baker. Nutrition was the other subject that I got interested in with baking. I had become interested in nutrition after I became allergic to chocolate. Desserts were like a medicine to me. Whenever I felt depressed or stressed, I used to relieve my stress by eating brownies, cookies, and muffins. Due to my stress, I ate chocolate ice cream and chocolate chip brownies almost every day last year. Then I began to gain weight and eventually became allergic to chocolate. I got a rash all over my body and I couldn't even sleep because of it. Since then, I got interested in the field of nutrition. While working on this project, I found that there are many people who are not able to enjoy dessert because of their illness. After this, I wanted to learn how I wanted to major in nutrition. I want to major in nutrition and want to learn how food works and affect our bodies so that I can customize dessert that correspond to individuals' problem. Capstone made me able to further explore the area that I'm interested in and also confirm my dream as a baker and nutritionist. I realized that it is really important to do something that I love or want after I noticed that I have a person who has tenacity. To explain my tenacity, I had to go back to my past year. I remember it was my fifth year when I first tried to learn guitar. I wanted to learn guitar after seeing a famous singer playing the guitar on the TV program. I thought I could be a famous singer who can play guitar professionally like him because playing the guitar looks so easy, but it was not. My teacher gave me homework to memorize all the chords, which I did not enjoy it, and also my fingers were so sore every time I played the guitar. So I quit the class and gave up to be a famous singer. My friends still talk about me being a famous singer every time they see me. They told me that they really thought that I could be a famous singer because I was so confident that time. Like this, I dreamed to be so many things like actress, dancer, painter, or famous writer. So I took a writing class, acting class, dancing class, and painting class. But unlike my aspiration on the first day, I quit every class within a month. After this experience, I define myself as a person who lacks tenacity and who are lazy. But the capstone was a chance for me to redefine myself. Baking is not an easy work, especially if you do not have a recipe to follow. I had to make a recipe for nutritious dessert, so I had to be creative. By using different ingredients and different temperatures every time, I tried to find the perfect recipe. Once I had done baking, I had lost all my energy that I literally can't do nothing. But surprisingly, I didn't quit this time. I tended to avoid doing something that I have to use my body, but baking was different. I didn't stop trying even though I had to keep standing up. I was surprised to see myself doing something with passion. Through the capstone, I realized that the problem was not my tenacity or laziness. The real problem was that I was not doing what I love or want. However, it was not easy for me to decide to major in nutrition and baking, even though I know that those things make me happy. As I said earlier, I have always wanted to have a job that I can make a lot of money, but baker and nutritionist are not those kind of jobs in usual cases. However, in Ecclesiastes chapter 3, Solomon says, "So I saw that there is nothing better for a person than to enjoy their work, because that is their lot." After reading this verse, I decided to choose the happiness from baking rather than the happiness from money because God made it work to enjoy it. Now I'm sure that all of you guys know I love eating desserts because it is obvious in my speech. I thought I can be fully satisfied by eating desserts, and I felt like it was working. I didn't deny the joy of eating dessert did not last long, but still it made me happy and it was enough for me. I thought the only problem of eating dessert was that it is not good for my health. But after reading Full by Asharita Sesiu, I noticed that my craving for desserts was the signal of my broken relationship with God. Full is not a simple diet book which only explains about how to lose weight or eat right. It is a guidebook to help us with understanding how God is working in our relationship with food. A shirt that points to the people who try to find satisfaction and comfort in food, the fact that God is the only one who can satisfy us. And most importantly, she teaches us that our craving for something can be a signal of our broken relationship with God. Before reading this book, I was missing the fact that God was sending me a signal through my craving for desserts. I was seeking satisfaction in food instead of God. However, Asherita said that food will never satisfy us because it was never meant to. God created food for many reasons, but providing emotional comfort was never one of them. Food is a good gift from God, but it can also be an enemy disturbing our relationship with God if we let it master us. I kept trying to let myself to choose God over food, but it got harder as the time went. Like we tend to choose chips rather than carrots, I tended to choose other things than God. The only way I could be free from my craving for dessert was to realize that the happiness from God is bigger than the happiness and satisfaction in food. I tried to learn it by myself, but it was hard to do it alone. In Isaiah 41, God told us, "Fear not, for I am with you. Be not dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you, I will help you, I will uphold you with the righteous right hand." God knows our struggles. He is with us every moment in our battle. He is waiting for us to let him help us. As I began to open the door of my heart to him, a lot of things changed. My craving for chocolate has not completely disappeared, but it decreased. And little by little, I found myself finding comfort and joy in him. With God's help, I was able to get to the moment I realized that happiness and satisfaction is God cannot be compared to any other things in this world. Through my experiences, I noticed that life is full of unexpected things. I used to hate getting out of my comfort zone and taking a challenge. I prefer hanging out with friends who I already know. The capstone made it possible for me to do things I never imagined. I found interest in taking a challenge and even talking to new people. If I had missed this opportunity, I would always have stayed in my comfort zone without improvement. Breaking the comfort zone yourself is never easy because we have to overcome our fear. But I was not alone. If I were if I were alone while doing the capstone, I would never have made it. It was possible because of the help and encouragement of my teachers, friends, and family. Before starting the capstone project, I was so worried about everything. I had never had experience interviewing people or doing a speech in front of the people. And also, English is not my first language, I just say. But now, finishing my final speech, I could say that there was no reason to be worried. I'm not saying that everything went easy or perfect as I planned it. Capstone gave me stress and also made me experience failure. But I think those moments were a springboard on my personal and spiritual improvement. Was a springboard on my personal and spiritual improvement. Those moments allowed me to think more about myself and to experience the love and the power of the God. My future goal is to help people who have the same problem as me after majoring in nutrition and culinary arts. I want to help people find comfort in God as well as find the perfect eating habits for them, as Asherita did. Health is a gift God has given us to do His work, so we should not ignore taking care of it. It is not too late now. So if you have any bad eating habits, why don't you go start checking the nutrition facts on the food products first? Thank you.